You are now listening to the Invited Podcast with Cedric Harris and Tia McLean. You've officially been invited.
So welcome to the Invited Podcast. Today we have Chef Ola. We are super excited to just learn more about her journey. Ola hails from St. Louis by way of Nigeria, holds a degree in psychology and an MBA. Yes, ma'am. And so, like I just said, we're just going to learn more about her journey. She successfully transitioned from the 9-to-5 world to owning her own business. And we just want to learn more just about her views on faith and food and, writing a book, just any and everything. So Miss Ola.
Yeah, that was such an intro. All right. That was a good intro.
Can you give us just a little brief bio on you and tell us about O's Kitchen?
Yes, brief. I'm going to try and make it brief because there's so many parts of the story. So I was born in Ibadan, Nigeria, and I relocated with my family to St. Louis, Missouri when I was 8. So in 2001, so right before 9/11 happened. And then I went to high school, St. Louis, obviously, and I enjoyed doing community service. So that's when I kind of got my passion for service. Then I went to college at Mizzou, and I kind of got more confirmation that my duty on this earth is to serve other people. And then I was a part of different organizations, and I always was the person who cooked, and always was the person who was like the point lead on any type of event. So then I kind of was like, okay, I'm really good at cooking, I'm really good at leading different things, but I never saw myself being a chef. Never thought I was going to have a business. I was just like, I like cooking, and I like telling people what to do. That's all that is. So I got my degree in psychology, and then I think I started doing plate sales at Mizzou, where I went to school, for $10 because no one had Nigerian food in college, on the college campus. So I was like, let me fill a gap. So I'm already thinking about solving a problem, which is what a business is, but I'm not thinking about it as a business. So long story short, I started doing that for about 2 months, and I was like, okay, I have to move to Dallas because I'm not going back home to St. Louis. Love St. Louis, nothing against it, but I just feel like God was pushing me somewhere different than going back home.
Yes.
So I decided to move to Dallas because my uncle was here. And then I moved here, and then I started working in a nonprofit, once again, the service aspect. And then my line sister, Kanisha, was like, you should start back O's Kitchen doing meal preps. And I was like, that's easy because it doesn't require a lot of capital to do meal preps. You just need to cook the food,
right,
some containers, cool. Did that, and then I started working full-time while the business was growing. So people were like, I want you for meal preps, but I also want you to cater my brunch. I also want you to cater my conference. I also want you to cater my wedding. I've never done any of that before, but I guess people saw maybe the drive I had for the food or the passion, and they were like, I believe in you. So because they believed in me, I believed in myself. Yes. And then we eventually outgrew meal preps. And that's how O's Kitchen kind of came to life. It wasn't something that, and I always said I'm never going to do it full time. But God always he's like, Ola, you are good at this, and this is where I want you to be. And then I ended up quitting my job 9 months after I started the business, and then took the leap, and here we are.
Come on now.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go.
that's
you love to see it.
Right. That's how it all tied together. So that's a little brief bio for you.
Now, you said something. So you said you never wanted to do this full.
No.
And why is that?
I think one, I've never seen, so my family, we all have entrepreneur spirit in some way, fashion, or form. Like my auntie is a full-time eBay seller. My grandfather had a farm. Like we've always all had things to do, but I've never seen someone be a chef. I've never seen somebody gain, full-time salary from cooking. It's just always been a passion. So I was like, there's no way I can make money doing it. It's just something I love. And I think that's why I was like, I haven't seen it, so therefore I can't do it. Until I was like, I haven't seen it because God's waiting on me to do it.
Come on now.
There we go.
It can be scary to try something that you haven't seen.
For sure, especially in my culture. A lot of Nigerian, I'm sure you all have met some. We're very educated people. So
yes.
You met doctors, you've met lawyers. Even my family has a lot of doctors, people in medicine. So for me to do something that's not traditional is scary, and you also don't want to be the one that messes up the legacy of the family.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So speaking on the Nigerian experience, how was it transitioning from Nigeria to the States, and what role did your family have as far as influencing you to pursue that entrepreneurial spirit that we talked about, then your influence on cooking and just their support moving forward?
Right. So transitioning to the States was extremely hard for me because I was shy. So it doesn't seem like I'm shy how I'm speaking, but imagine like a young girl with dark skin, big lips, with the African accent. Like I barely spoke fluent English.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to assimilate. People used to make fun of me, tease me, everything. So I was very coy, very shy, and I don't want to make people mad. I still sometimes don't want to make people mad, but so it was hard for me to adjust just because I looked different and I felt different, and we lived in a predominantly white area. So when we went to school, all the kids were white. So in Nigeria, everybody's Nigerian, black.
Yeah.
America, it's a lot of white people.
Yes, it is.
So it was just a lot of culture shock, and I think my family, they're amazing. And when I decided to quit, they all were like, as long as you can pay your bills.
Hey.
Mind you, I couldn't, but it was gonna happen. Like I kind of had to not talk them into supporting me, but I had to say, this is what I'm gonna do, and y'all are my family. And they were like, okay, we're down. So my auntie invested in my first catering set. My mom is always, whenever she's going out shopping, like thrifting, she's always looking for stuff for me. So eventually,
I love that.
It grew on them, and they had no choice to support me. They had a choice, but they made the choice to support me. Let me say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that full-time job that you were working before?
When I quit?
Yeah.
I was at Promise House, which is a youth shelter in Dallas. I was a annual gift coordinator.
So still helping people,
still
serving
people,
the
and I
community.
wouldn't say I was qualified for that position, but baby, that interview, I made sure that like I my resume, like I tailored it to match the position. And before I started working at Promise House, I was at Amazon, the warehouse, because I couldn't find a job. So everything just kind of worked out the way it's supposed to work out.
That's beautiful.
So like transitioning from like Mizzou, what brought you? I know you said your uncle here. What made you take that leap from Mizzou to Dallas, St. Louis to Dallas, and then what was that transition period like? Like I know a lot of people when they come out of college, they don't know what to do. They don't know what's next. They had this degree, this debt, and they're like, all right, I need to eat. So like, what was that process like? That transition piece.
So I kind of just chose Dallas because my uncle, literally it was the only reason because my uncle was here, because I was like, I want to go where family is just in case, something was to happen or I need to like move into his house.
Exactly.
I'm already thinking about long term. I just need somebody. So that's the only reason I chose Dallas. And I didn't come here with the job. Well, kind of. I did a program called City Year, which is an AmeriCorps program. Yes! I did City Year. And City Year, if anyone does not know, they don't pay you. You make like $500 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they don't pay you the hours that you work. So you work like 60 hours a week. You're in schools from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that was a struggle, but it gave me a sense of community because it was a whole bunch of different people doing it with me. I met my best friend through City Year. And it was just like a good first way to meet different people, to get networking. And we had like dinners together. We hung out together, went out together. So the transition wasn't as bad. We were broke, but we were happy. And to me, sometimes that's more important than the money that you bring in.
Yes. I remember when I first moved here, I saw Ola. Did you ever live at Pike West?
No, where's that?
We were at a barbecue.
Yeah.
I was with Cedric and Donovan and some more friends, and that's when
I
I first saw you.
Yeah.
And Ola was just so welcoming. She was like, "Here, join these group meets."
I remember that. I was in group meet tough. Oh my goodness, I loved group meet. Loved it.
Did that help you like kind of get involved in just meeting more people?
Yeah, for sure. Group meet was really, really dope because Dallas, one thing about Dallas and one thing different about Dallas from St. Louis is that people here are eager to meet other people. St.
I would
Louis,
agree with
very
that.
true.
I love, like I say, y'all, if you listen to this, I love St. Louis. However, it's a little bit different. It's not as millennial friendly in St. Louis, I want to say. Yeah. So Dallas is kind of like everyone here is a transplant. So everyone's eager to meet different people. So I used to go out quite a bit when I moved here.
Same.
Remember I was talking to you about that.
Yes.
So I used to kick it all the time. But as soon as I got the vision for O's Kitchen, and as soon as I started doing my MBA, I stopped going out. So I haven't been out really since I first moved here because I had to cut all the distractions out. Exactly.
That'll have you trapped. I swear, going out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I remember telling Tia, I was like, Tia, okay,
Y'all are crazy.
have fun. But eventually, you get tired of it.
It wears on your body.
Yeah, and on your bank account.
Yes.
Hey,
yes,
telling
it
you.
does.
It does.
So you kind of were like, I have something more important I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and it was tough saying that to people, especially my friends. A lot of people did not understand it. I think now, 3 years later, they get it. But in the moment, they're like, Ola, you're so busy. You don't have time for us. You're not texting me back. You're not going out. Because imagine you working full-time, having a side hustle that's a catering business, that's a service, and then you're in school. Like, it's just a lot.
It sounds impossible.
It dang near was, because I had very long nights, very long mornings, and it just got to a point where I couldn't do all three, which is why I had to quit. And then I graduated, I think, like 6 months after I quit. Or the year after,
And thinking about that, like you said, it's like super overwhelming. So what even influenced your decision to go back to school? Because I know a lot of people, once they get that bachelor's and they don't go straight through, it's like a real tough decision to get back into it, especially while working and pursuing other things.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I didn't want to go back to school, but my grandfather, when he was alive, he would always be like, your education's important, your education's important. And my family, no one has 1 degree. Everybody has 2 or more, which is a blessing. But I wasn't going to be the one to, once again, to break that tradition.
Yeah.
So I was going to go to school for MPH, which is a Master's in Public Health. But I had a mentor through City Year, and he was like, you should do your MBA. You make more money as an MBA. You have more career moves with the MBA degree. So that kind of pushed me, because I was going to go back to school regardless, but I didn't know what.
Right.
So that pushed me to do an MBA. Mind you, at this point, when I did an MBA, I still did not know O's Kitchen was going to be what it is.
Right.
So all of this is just individual moves that now make sense. And it's beautiful to see.
Because you are our first podcast guest, we want to know about your first catering experience. Tell us about that. So think back.
First in Dallas or first ever?
Let's go with first in Dallas. So when you wanted to kickstart back up O's Kitchen.
Yeah. What's crazy is I just posted about this not so long ago on Instagram. So it was my friend Maya, and she was having a birthday party, and it was at this gallery, and she was like, oh, I want food. And I was like, hey, I'm starting this business. I want to put myself out there. Let me cook for it. So she paid me, it was so cheap. She paid me just for the food. I didn't make any money, but I was so happy because I'm like, I gotta get it. Let's get it.
Word of mouth.
So I cooked the food in my little kitchen. And I remember it was mac and cheese. It was rotel. And I remember showing up. So for catering, you have not shavers, but you have like totes that Cambrio things that you put the food in. I showed up in cardboard boxes. That's all I had. So I just put the food in there. It spilled everywhere. But when I say I showed up and I showed out, I got the equipment from Dollar Tree. And I'm gonna send y'all a picture so y'all can post it. But I made it look pretty, wrote my little scribble on there. And people loved the food. And I remember, I didn't eat the food, but I remember sitting down okay, Ola.
Yeah, you did it.
I did it.
I did that.
It was a mess trying to get it organized and driving because I didn't know what I was doing. But I was like, okay, people like the food. We're going somewhere. And that was the first event that I did in Dallas.
That's the beauty of that's what Cedric and I talk about so much, is just being able to look back and when I was really I was struggling. I was pulling straws, but now now look at where you are.
Right.
Oil machine.
Yes.
No, for sure. It's amazing, and it's also very, I don't know. I get emotional thinking about it because when I was going through it, I didn't see this was gonna be a thing. Like the cookbook I came out with, or just the people my audience, my clients. I never thought people would believe in what I was doing, but they do,
and support you
and they support me, and they support me. They support the vision, and I never once imagined it.
Yeah.
Ever.
I feel like it's not hard to get the support when your food tastes good. So I've tasted before. I was at Tia's birthday when you catered the brunch.
Yeah.
And
the waffle.
Yeah,
chicken and waffle.
That was a
You
hit.
liked it, and I liked what I did, but I was like hard on myself. I was like, dang, I should have did this better. But I'm glad you said that now because I never asked you how it was.
Yes,
girl,
it was good.
It was gone.
And so that was brunch, and then just doing some research. I see you do dinner. So like,
yeah.
What types of foods do you make? Because I know you probably make a traditional Nigerian food. Right. That's how it started. What all cuisines do you make? And then do you have a favorite thing that you make?
That's a good question. So I really will make whatever people want me to make. Okay. I'm pretty open. But what I'm realizing is a lot of people like comfort food. Yeah. So like the mac and cheeses, the steaks, the lobster. I make those often because I think people really enjoy it. Granted, I could make more, so I could do Indian food, I could do Mediterranean food, I could do Nigerian food. I feel like I make sure I study the food where it comes from. I use butchers. Like I do a lot of work goes into research. Like I put the time into it, so I could pretty much make anything. And I think what I realized is just because you can make anything doesn't mean you should. So my menu for like the private dinners is very short because this is what people like. When you start adding too much creativity, people get confused, have a lot of questions. Right. So I try to do things that I know that people like, and I do say if you want something that's on the menu, let me know and I'll research it. And my favorite thing to make, let me see, I love making lamb. I prefer lamb over steak. I've never had lamb. People say it's good. People say it's good. People say I'm missing out. Especially in Dallas, people love lamb. Lamb chops. Love making lamb. Love making shrimp and grits. I don't eat shrimp and grits though. That's a crazy thing. I would never order it in a restaurant. It's not my thing. But I know how to make it really well. And I love pasta. Okay. Pasta. That's I live for pasta. Literally. Could eat all day.
I have a question. So when you were talking earlier, like you talked about God giving you this vision for O's Kitchen, and did you talk about faith? Like, and I want to know more about your faith. Can you think of a moment, or are there continuous moments that show you that God is real?
Ooh, girl, I could be here all day.
Testimony.
First of all, the fact that I was able to quit my job, when I quit, I had no savings. Yeah. I remember sitting in my office and I like wrote down, I want to make X amount by 20. Literally, I remember putting 2021, 2020. Like I was like, I want to make this and then I'm gonna quit. Whew. So imagine me quitting with no savings and the business is still going. So clearly, it's God. It's nothing but God. So that's one. And then two, I think I realized it when I booked my first conference. And and she's probably gonna listen to this, but it was a tribe gathering. I showed up to it, and I was like an hour late catering the food, and I was crying on my way there because I had to work my full-time job overnight because it was a special event. On my way there, crying, I'm like, dang, I'm late. They're not gonna like me. And she embraced me and gave me a hug. And on my way to the event, I was like, God was saying, oh, it's time to quit. Because you're not going to be able to do it all. Yeah. So then I was late setting up. So their event was late an hour, but people loved the food. And at that moment, I was like, this is God. Because they could have complained like, oh, you know what I mean? So they rearranged the whole conference schedule, like push things back a little bit because so the food could be set up. So that, I can go on and on about that. And then 3, the cookbook that God released, self-published. Ooh. And we sold most of the copies we sold, so a good 90% were sold in the first 48 hours. Oh my gosh. Huge. Wow. That's huge. No PR, no press, honey. Yeah. I'm the me and my friends are the press. Yeah. And my little 1,400 followers on Instagram. Those are all the PR that we needed, and that was nothing but God. Because who does that? Come on.
Speaking of the book, tell the listener what's the name of the book, where they can get it from, and cooking is one thing, but what inspired you to write the book?
That's a great question. So the book is called Upscale Comfort, and as you just heard me say, a lot of the food I make makes people feel it's comfort food. It makes them feel comfortable, but at the same time, the way I present it is a little bit upscale, a little bit luxurious, a little bit bougie, a little bit fancy. So I remember I got a review from a client, and that's how she described it. And I've heard other people say that, like it's food that you maybe grew up eating, but the way presented, or like the way you know what I'm saying, the way you sourced the ingredients, the way you called it, the menu you did, it's a little upscale. Yes. So we said Upscale Comfort. That's how I came up with the name. You can get it if you go to my link in bio. You can actually purchase the ebook too. Oh wow. Coming out with that. And you can purchase the hard copy or the ebook. And then what inspired me to write this cookbook? it was God, because once again, who writes a cookbook with no backing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I kind of just got the idea, and God was like, I want to see more of you. So I did a YouTube channel. So I post recipes there. I post stuff on Instagram. But God was like, I want to see you. Yes. So I was like, let me write the recipes. And at first, we were going to have lamb chops be the cover. Ooh. Fun fact, y'all. This is exclusive. Okay. We were going to have lamb chops be the cover. So me and my graphic designer, after we went to Mizzou too, we talked about it. She was like, that's going to be the cover. But then when we got to the set, we took the pictures. And we were like, no, you're going to be the cover. Listen. And I was like, yeah, I am. You know what I mean? And that wasn't the plan, but the way the picture came out, the story, like, you know, photogenic. I feel like I'm photogenic or whatever. So it all made sense. And I was like, you don't really see Black women on the cover of a cookbook. Mm-hmm. And I think for like kids who maybe like to cook, I feel like it's important. And at first I was like, only celebrities. But I said, I'm a celebrity. Let's claim it, okay? Listen. Because that's how my audience makes me feel. Not like celebrity status, but just people just make me feel. And God honestly makes me feel like there is a lot on my shoulders and people are watching and people are listening. So I was like, why not put myself on the cover? So that's how everything came to be with the cookbook. And it was hard. It took 9 months to write the recipes, edit the recipes, graphic designer to do it all together, the photo, because we had to do 2 different photo shoots, food photo shoot, my photo shoot, run an Airbnb. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it.
All worth it, because look at this.
Right. Like. And I was doing, the cookbook was coming to life while I was still working in those kitchens. So we're still catering, still doing all of that. But I think the discipline from me being in school, working in the business, kind of carried over.
Just flow right into it.
Yeah.
So what don't you do? So we do books, we do catering, we do meal preps. What other type of services does O's Kitchen offer?
So I've been getting into decor and organizing. So O's Kitchen will be offering it, but Ola and Tola will be offering it. So I've been working on like organizing my kitchen space, making it look more minimalist and aesthetically pleasing. So I've been doing that on the side. But O's Kitchen, we do private dinners. We don't do meal preps anymore.
No meal preps. Okay.
Yeah. We outgrew them. Private dinners, caterings for weddings. We do to-go orders now that COVID is a thing. So if you want to have a date night and you don't want someone in your home, we can deliver the food. We set it up for you, and we do virtual cooking classes now. So
that's fun.
So for corporate events, so we did one with Hinge dating app that was really fun. I know.
That's so
and
cool.
Then we have another one coming up too. So different sororities have hit us up for that. So we're kind of just expanding. Whatever the people want, we give them.
And let me tell you, so Ola is saying like all this cool stuff, and a year and a half ago, when I worked at a community college, let me tell you that I thought that was super duper huge. You saying all this, like you saying all, like a bunch more. But when I worked at this college, we had an event. I don't even know what it was, but I see Ola walk in, and she is catering our event.
Oh, you didn't know she was gonna cater it?
I didn't even know she worked there. I was like, oh, Tia.
Like, so that showed me in that moment, like, wow, like. You know, just how big she was and how much she was doing and how much her name was growing and being shared around Dallas. Like, we're in South
crazy.
Dallas.
I remember that event was there early. I made breakfast tacos. Y'all people didn't eat them because they bought food for, I think, 100 people, but only 40 were there.
Girl, we never had anybody show up to our school. So that makes sense.
But no, it was good seeing you, and I think the reach is bigger than sometimes I can imagine, which is why the cookbook, I think, is just literally a gift from God, because I don't know. I know people who have it, but I really don't know who has it, type of thing. Right. So. Yeah.
She said, I just know that it was sold.
It's sold, and it's in the right hands.
Yes.
And it seems like you touched on earlier, just being able to serve people, and that's something that you're really about. I was reading more about O's Gives Back. Tell us more about that and why addressing the problems of food deserts and food insecurity is so important.
Yeah, so I have a nonprofit. Well, it's going to be a nonprofit. We're claiming it now. It's a social initiative called O's Kitchen Gives Back. So I talked about servicing others and giving back, a nonprofit. Yes. And I was like, I don't want to be a person that is in a box. I don't want to be stuck in a box. Like, I want to do everything that God called me to do. And O's Kitchen Gives Back was a way to do that, because there is food deserts all over. And I grew up in Nigeria, third world country. food insecure as it gets.
Yeah.
And I think it's just important for me to use my gift to shine light on what that is. So really, a food desert is where it's an area where there's no grocery store within a mile. So in Dallas, like South Dallas is one. So essentially, I came up with it as a way to educate and eradicate food deserts through advocacy. So we've partnered with For a Cliff. We give them to-go meals, and then I post on the page a little bit like some statistics. We took a pause with COVID, so I'm currently trying to not rebrand it, but refigure out what that looks like with COVID.
Right.
So I think in the future we're going to be offering virtual cooking classes for kids at free charge, because I feel like now that COVID is ongoing, but COVID is ongoing.
Yes.
I was worried at first about doing that because I'm like, people might not have access to a computer, but I think now the schools have given them access. So I'm going to try and work on that and then make it into a 501c3 so we can get the momentum running and like get grant money and all of that, because it's a really good idea, but the time is the time. But we're getting back to it. We're getting back to it.
But like you said, gotta let you know.
Right.
So either way, you'll be all right.
Right. And it's
That's really cool.
so much layered into a food desert. So I was like, I have to at least do my part, because it's like a systemic issue. But we don't get into that today. But
it is.
Yeah, I have to at least do my part and help out with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Speaking about food or the lack thereof, right before we got on air, you were talking about you were on a fast.
Ooh.
Tell us more about that fast,
Oh my
the struggles
goodness.
of with having such a gifted hand and being able to cook. Tell us what that's been like, how that's been for you, and what you've learned throughout the fast, or what it's brought to you.
I'm sighing because I'm at the end of the fast, and y'all. Okay, so the fast, I did it. So I do it every year. It's the Daniel fast. So first of all, my church does one like for the first week of January, Solemn Assembly. That one you fast from food and technology from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. That one wasn't as bad because you can still eat as you please. You just stop eating at 3. My schedule's so hectic that it's
You're busy
fine.
anyway.
But the Daniel fast, you can't eat meat, you can't eat dairy, you can't eat grain, you can't process foods. You can only drink water. So you're pretty much vegan, and I commend all people that are vegan because
it ain't for me.
It's been hard because I cook for people.
Yes.
I have to smell the food, I have to taste the food, and I have to eat the food, and then when on my time I can't eat that.
Right.
So my body has just been really confused. And I've been very hangry lately, so I've been having to like be mindful as far as like how I'm speaking to people, things that are agitating me, because sometimes I'm just hungry and annoyed, you know.
And that's it.
But on the flip side of it, the spiritual discipline that it's given me, so I feel like God has downloaded it so much. And this is what happened with the book. So the book was downloaded to me in January on a fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now God has downloaded more things to me on this fast, and I feel like it's a way to increase my spiritual discipline. And just hear clearly from God. So on that end, it's doing what it's supposed to do. I just have to get on board, but we're at the end of it, and I think I'm going to try and stay healthy post fast, and maybe because my body's also looking better, feeling good.
Yes.
But it's hard.
You're saying lots of benefits.
Yeah, a lot of benefits. It's just me. But I think a lot of people struggle with this because you're changing your whole for 3 weeks. It's not like a day. It's like almost a month. And you're seeing your friends drink, so no alcohol too. So I haven't had a glass of wine since the beginning of January.
I offer her some champagne when she walks in.
And I said no. And I'm a wine connoisseur. Like, I love going out to eat.
Yeah.
I love, enjoying nice things, food. But we have scaled back.
Okay, so for someone growing in their faith, how do you know when God is speaking to you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Growing in your faith, how do you know when God is speaking to you? So that's hard to answer because sometimes we think it's God, but it's really us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the only way what I would say is if you get confirmation from it. So if you're hearing the same message over and over again, and when you're praying and you also have to be specific in your prayer.
Yeah. And
you have to say, God, let me know this is happening by this. Because there's been times where I meet somebody and I'm like, oh, this man is from God. And it's not. It's from me. You know what I'm saying? It was my desires. It was not God's desires for that man to be in my life.
Yes.
So I think you just have to pray, and just strengthen your relationship with God, whatever that looks like. Whether it's journaling, whether it's listening to a sermon. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but the closer you get to God, the easier it is, I believe, to hear from him. And to know that it's him and not somebody else or your desires.
Yes, and I feel like that's always the most difficult part. It's like, man, did I just tell myself that?
Right,
because
because we can convince ourselves, because the heart can be deceitful. We can convince.
That's a word.
And you mentioned it, not me. You said something about men.
Oh, man.
Does Ola have time to date currently? Is she seeing somebody?
Is she seeing somebody? That's the sticky, it's a sticky answer. Okay, so do I have time to date? No, I don't, but I make the time to date. So because I have to make the time to date, and I don't say I'm picky, but I'm picky, because if I have to make,
You should be.
If I'm making the time, like clearing out my schedule, doing all this, then you have to be a man of caliber.
Yes.
So I'm currently dating right now. Dallas dating scene is
interesting
question mark on there, but it's something. Yeah.
I like what you said. Yes, no, but if I'm making time for you, don't come to me with no.
No, for real. And a lot of the men I've been meeting also can't handle a woman like me, because that's false. Mm-hmm. But a lot of men that I meet are insecure in who they are. So when they meet someone who runs their own business, or maybe is as vocal as me, it shows, like their insecurities show. And that's one thing I can't do, is I can't bring a man up, and I can't give you confidence. Like, if you don't have it, that's great. Figure it out.
Anything that you do would make them feel challenged.
Right, and emasculate them. Yeah. And I'm not in the business of training up a man. Not at this age.
No.
Not at this age.
Not at all. And she also said, no, I don't have time to date, but I make time. So please think about that. So when people are telling you, oh, I'm so busy, or I don't have time to do this or do that. Yes, people are busy, but you can make some time for things that are important to you.
Exactly.
Just like she made time for that kitchen. Kitchen. There we go.
Right.
And you said you were just talking about yourself, and you were just saying, like, everyone can't handle you. Mm-hmm. But just overall, not even on the dating tip, but like, what's something that you would like the audience to know about you, or our listeners, that they may not know, or there's something that just overall people might not know about and Ola's kitchen and just Ola?
I'm a very open book. I'm trying to see what they won't know about me. Let me think about something that's a pet peeve. Okay, so one of my pet peeves is when people are indirect with me. It really bothers me. Is that bothering you?
We just talked about that. Oh my gosh, you please finish.
When people aren't direct, like when they beat around the bush, or maybe they like want to spare my feelings. Like, I'm a very I don't want to say cutthroat, but the business has led me to be a cutthroat. So that's something people don't know about me. So I'm very sweet, but when you are giving me the runaround, or you're just either being dishonest, or you're not telling like it is, it bothers me.
Because I can tell.
Because I'm pretty honest. I'm pretty direct. Even if it might hurt your feelings, like, I try and be mindful and like say it in a different way. So that's one thing that is bothering me. And then just what I want people to know about me is I'm really sweet. I know I really do present as like a business owner. I have two sides. I have like the business side, and then I have the Ola side. They both exist. Like, I'm a very sweet person, and I just also mean business at the same time.
Yes.
And people, I think, they meet one or the other, but we're both here.
That they don't realize that you are not static. You are a multitude of different things.
I am.
As we all are.
Multifaceted, okay?
So for business Ola and personal Ola, what's next? So we're looking forward to 2021. What's next for you, for personally, for the business, and where do you see yourself going in next year, couple years? What do you want to achieve?
Dang, that's huge. So for the business side, I like where we are now. I feel like we are just now getting the exposure that we deserve, and like is it notoriety? I don't know if that's the right way. Okay, notoriety that we deserve, because for the first 2 years, so it's been about to be 3 years in August. For the first 2 years, I was grinding, trying to get the name out, trying to do this, trying to do that. So my prices were a little bit more affordable. So now that I feel like we're confident, prices are raised a little bit.
Upscale.
Okay.
Price just went up.
So price just went up. So I think this year it's more so just sitting in that, not really trying to grow it too much, but just like making sure that our practices are good. So from payroll, like we run payroll, we got schedules. Like, I'm just trying to make sure the systems work, because last year I just got them, and with COVID, now I'm just trying to make sure it's like the foundation is solid And next year, or even this year, we're going to start growing more. So I have a team of about 8 people. I just gave them all raises. Like, it's a full functioning business out here. So I think we're just enjoying the growth. And then as far as personal, I think I want to kind of expand my personal brand because I've spent 3 years with O's Kitchen. So I'm going to be working on like a personal blog to like put some of my recipes, like the stuff I do in my free time. I think I want to put that, invest in myself because I've invested in the business, and now it's like time for me to come out there and show the world what I can do and all of that good stuff. So
and we would love to see it.
I was about to say you love to see it.
So kind of just like a behind the scenes of what I do, and just like a platform to post, you know, in addition to like the Instagram and stuff.
Whenever you have that ready, let us know. We are
we'll
more than happy
Yes.
to share support.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Right.
Well, transition. We're gonna hit you with a couple quick hitters.
Okay.
Couple little segments that we're playing around with here.
Okay.
So, you're the first one that'll be participating in our variety of games. So, T, you want to explain this one?
So this first segment that we have is it's called Bravo. Okay, so you will be asked a random question. It'll be all 3 of us actually. So it may be Ola, maybe Ola and Said. The phone will tell us what to do. Then we'll just answer the random question. You have 5 seconds to answer.
Okay.
5.
I'm gonna drink some water and then.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, we'll do 4 quick questions.
Okay.
All right, T and Said, name 3 things to say that's. Let me start that over.
Wow, there we go. We're not editing that out either.
Yes, we are. Okay. Tia, name 3 jokes to play when a friend leaves their cell phone unlocked. Text their ex, call their mom and say that the friend got lost. Transfer money from their account to yours.
Hey, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Tia and Ola, name 5 things to do when no one's home. Walk around naked.
I was about to say that. You can cook while naked.
Sleep.
Time.
5 is a lot.
But it's 2 of you. It's 2 of you. So, you know.
2 more. Okay. Said, name 4 emojis.
Smiley face, angel, frown face, crying face.
You got the easy one.
Exactly. An
You got the
emoji.
easy one.
All right, let's see. Ola, name 3 things at home you have to throw.
Ooh, a pillow, my dog's toy, and
Time.
I don't know.
Time.
She was close.
Close.
I'm ready.
Give her an extra second. What's your doggy's name?
Titan.
Oh, this is the same dog you've had for a long time.
Yeah. 6 years. 6 years.
Thank you for doing that with us. We wanted to see how it was gonna work.
That's cute.
And this next question I'm gonna ask you, but then you're gonna have to help us with the answer.
Okay.
It'll make sense when I ask you the question.
Okay.
I'm confused too.
So, who do you think should be a guest on our podcast? And if you have the connection with this person, you have to help bridge that gap and plug us.
Who do I think should be a guest? I really want to hear from, like, I don't know who this is, but anyone who has like a fashion line that started a fashion line in Dallas.
Okay.
I'd love to hear someone from that arena. And I love hearing from entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you know any of them, I don't know that many.
Okay. Well, anyone you know, feel free to send them our way.
But I would love to hear more from people who've done the same thing.
And as we're continuing to do these episodes, you know, our network is going to be growing. So we hopefully, and, you know, I'm going to say it, we will have more people to bring, you know, to check off these boxes and hopefully give you what you're looking for from those conversations. So that's definitely going to happen.
I'm excited.
And for the listener, where can they find out all the information about you? Website, social media, vlog, YouTube channel, book.
Listen,
you gotta drop your handles.
It's gonna be a lot, but please get your phone out and write it all down. So my personal Instagram is at chefola _ CHEFOLA _ The business Instagram, which is where a lot of the food photos are, is O's Kitchen Catering. On Instagram, OSKITCHEN Catering. And then the website is www.oskitchencatering.com. I'm on YouTube as Chef Ola. I'm on TikTok as Chef Ola _ I'm on Facebook at O's Kitchen Catering and Ola Akintola. And then the book you can find at Did I say W 3 times? www.oskitchencatering.com/shop or just the website itself, and you see it, and they'll link you to either the ebook or the hard copy. So that's where you can find me. And then
everywhere.
Soon come, you can go to olakatilla.com too.
Yes,
but we
ma'am.
working on that.
So she's saying if you can't find it, you're not trying.
You're not
Pretty
trying, 'cause
much.
it's everywhere.
We are going to tag every single handle when we make our post on Instagram about your episode.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that.
And then we're going to end on this note. What ending advice would you give to someone wanting to journey down the path of entrepreneurship?
Ooh, advice. I would say if you are looking to do it for money, don't do it. That's the only advice I have. If you're looking to be an entrepreneur to make money, it's not for you. Because when those days get long and those days get tired, money's not going to make you happy, and it's not going to make you want to do it. So you have to do it because you have the heart to, because you have the passion to, and because you have a problem to solve.
That was simple and
Hey.
sweet. I love
Concise,
it.
I understood it, and there we go.
That's it.
Well, we definitely appreciate you, Ola, for being our very first guest.
Yay.
Episode 2 of the Invited Podcast is a wrap. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.